XRP is no longer just a digital asset. It's positioned at the epicenter of a seismic financial shift that could rewrite the rules of banking, liquidity, and global payments forever. Imagine a world where Ripple, the company behind XRP, doesn't just disrupt Wall Street, it collides with it head-on, forcing giants like BlackRock, JP Morgan, and even the IMF to rethink how money moves across borders. Prepare for shock. What you're about to hear could make or break fortunes overnight, and if you stay till the end of this video, you'll see why every XRP holder, trader, and institutional player is holding their breath. But before we dive deeper, I need you to do one thing. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because missing the next updates could cost you more than you think. The truth is, Ripple is sitting on developments that the SEC and mainstream pundits are either clueless about or purposefully ignoring, and if you're not paying attention right now, you might be left behind when the next wave hits. Are we talking incremental gains? No. This is the kind of moment where your portfolio could explode in ways that defy conventional logic, where even hedge funds are scrambling to understand what Ripple has quietly been building. The rumors of partnerships with central banks, cross-border liquidity hubs, and multi-billion-dollar enterprise deals are not just hype. They are whispers of a financial revolution that could make the early Bitcoin days look like child's play. WTF. And here's the kicker. Ripple insiders are dropping hints that major tech integrations and liquidity expansions are imminent. And when the dust settles, XRP could very well be the crown jewel of the crypto ecosystem, attracting trillions in institutional capital. You've got Goldman Sachs analysts quietly revising their projections, while the IMF has been quietly studying Ripple's XRapid and on-demand liquidity systems, signaling that the traditional banking architecture is on the verge of a brutal, game-changing overhaul. This isn't speculation, this is evidence of a tectonic shift, and right now, the question isn't whether XRP will move, it's how fast and how high. Are you ready to see behind the curtain and understand the full scope of what's coming next before anyone else on YouTube breaks it down? This is your front row seat to a story that most financial news outlets wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole because it threatens the very narrative they've been feeding the public for years. By the end of this series, you'll understand why Ripple is not just surviving regulatory pressure, it's potentially using it as leverage to become the linchpin of global finance. So strap in, because part 2 is where we get into the numbers, the insider sources, and the strategic moves that prove this is not a drill. Here's where things get really intense. The numbers don't lie, and the players behind the scenes aren't waiting for anyone to catch up. XRP's on-chain activity is spiking in ways that scream institutional accumulation. Wallet addresses holding millions of XRP are multiplying, and if you think this is normal market behavior, think again. BlackRock's recent filings suggest they are quietly exploring crypto custody solutions that could include XRP, while JP Morgan's blockchain research papers hint at the use of Ripple's liquidity tools to streamline cross-border settlements. This isn't coincidence. This is a chess game where every move has been meticulously planned, and the SEC's ongoing legal saga, which mainstream media dramatizes as uncertainty, is actually becoming a blueprint for legitimizing XRP on a global scale. Analysts from Bloomberg Intelligence and crypto think tanks are whispering projections that could see XRP's liquidity network powering hundreds of billions in transactions within months, not years. And here's the part most people are missing. Ripple isn't just negotiating with banks, they're quietly connecting with national payment systems, central banks, and financial consortiums that control massive capital flows, making XRP the potential backbone for cross-border transactions. Every report of a partnership in development isn't rumor. They are early-stage pilots that could, once public, trigger a domino effect of institutional adoption that will make the last bull run look like a warm-up. While you've been watching Bitcoin and Ethereum grab headlines, XRP's under-the-radar expansions are quietly building the scaffolding for a financial revolution, one that could be catalyzed by news as minor as a central bank pilot program or as major as a regulatory clarification from the SEC. And insiders close to Ripple hint that some of the world's top trading desks are preparing to deploy automated liquidity strategies that will leverage XRP in unprecedented ways. This is where it gets conspiratorial. Mainstream outlets will claim it's just crypto volatility. But anyone paying attention to the filings, the wallet movements, and the whispers from high-level financial insiders knows this is a calculated, inevitable surge. Every chart, every partnership announcement, every legal filing is a breadcrumb pointing to one unavoidable conclusion. Ripple is quietly aligning the stars for a major market event, and if you're not positioned, you could be watching this historic moment unfold from the sidelines. Now we're entering the part that most people either ignore or completely misunderstand, the catalysts that could send XRP into hyperdrive, and why the fear, uncertainty, and doubt pushed by mainstream media is pure noise designed to scare retail traders out of their positions. First, let's talk SEC developments. While headlines paint this as a never-ending legal battle, insiders reveal that Ripple has been using the process strategically, turning what looks like adversity into a massive credibility boost. Every court filing, every motion, every hint of regulatory engagement is creating a framework that, once finalized, could clear the path for massive institutional adoption. Imagine a scenario where the SEC effectively legitimizes XRP without the world even realizing the magnitude. This is exactly what Ripple has been maneuvering toward. Then there's the partnership angle. Rumors of major banks testing XRP for cross-border settlements are not just speculation. Sources close to the matter confirm pilot programs in Asia, Europe, and the Middle East, with multi-billion-dollar liquidity corridors in play. What does this mean for you as an investor? Prepare for shock. When these pilots go live, XRP could become the preferred settlement token for global transactions, triggering a demand wave that dwarfs anything seen in previous crypto cycles. And let's address the FUD head-on. Yes, there will be headlines claiming regulatory uncertainty, market manipulation, or tech shortcomings. But insiders tell us these are distraction tactics by traditional financial media and competing blockchain projects trying to keep XRP under the radar. BlackRock, Fidelity, and even PayPal have quietly analyzed Ripple's tech stack and its scalability. These aren't companies known for rushing into volatile markets without a strategic plan. If XRP were a small player, maybe you'd worry. But this is a systemic shift in how money moves globally, and every negative headline is a smokescreen for what's actually coming: adoption on an unprecedented scale. The catalysts are stacking: legal wins that reduce regulatory risk, enterprise and banking pilots that validate XRP's real-world utility, and strategic liquidity moves that make mass adoption not a possibility, but a matter of when, not if. And here's where it gets truly conspiratorial. Insiders hint that some of the largest hedge funds are positioning quietly for this exact moment, knowing that when Ripple drops public confirmation of these pilots and partnerships, XRP could explode in value almost overnight. The mainstream narrative will try to spin it as luck or hype, but anyone paying attention to the on-chain activity, corporate filings, and Ripple's quiet but relentless global strategy knows this is precision execution at a scale few imagined. Every FUD attack, every bearish prediction, and every sensational headline only amplifies the opportunity for those who are watching closely. Here's where we get to the part that will make some of you sit up, clutch your portfolios, and seriously reconsider your entire crypto strategy. XRP's price justification and why missing this window could be catastrophic for latecomers. Let's cut through the noise. Ripple isn't just a token, it's a utility powerhouse designed to handle trillions in global transactions, and the math behind this is undeniable. Current market cap? Tiny compared to the potential transaction volume Ripple could dominate once central banks, enterprise partnerships, and liquidity corridors go live. Think about it. If just a fraction of cross-border payment flows that currently move through SWIFT and traditional banking rails, start using XRP for settlement, we're talking a multi-hundred billion-dollar demand shock. That's not a forecast. That's a conservative estimate based on banking transaction volumes and Ripple's real-world adoption pipeline. Analysts who actually understand enterprise blockchain aren't speculating. They're projecting scenarios where XRP could easily reach triple-digit valuations if regulatory clarity comes through and these pilots scale. And let's be brutally honest, the mainstream media will continue to downplay these moves, calling it volatile or uncertain, but anyone with insider knowledge knows the narrative is deliberately misleading. This is a pivotal moment. Either you're positioned for a potential market tidal wave, or you're watching from the sidelines as institutional whales and tech-savvy investors quietly accumulate millions of XRP at suppressed prices. Major players like Fidelity, BlackRock, and even select sovereign wealth funds are reportedly exploring ways to integrate Ripple's on-demand liquidity into their settlement infrastructures. This is huge. And when adoption triggers, the velocity of transactions alone could create a self-reinforcing demand loop, pushing XRP far beyond what casual observers are expecting. The warning is clear. The longer you wait, the steeper the price could climb, and when the next wave hits, hesitation could mean missing not just gains, but a once-in-a-generation opportunity. This is the financial equivalent of standing outside the launch pad while the rocket prepares for takeoff. XRP is no longer just another altcoin. It's a strategic asset quietly reshaping global liquidity, and anyone who underestimates this is underestimating the future of finance itself. Timing, positioning, and understanding the narrative versus the reality are now the difference between average returns and life-changing wealth. The question isn't if XRP will move, the question is whether you'll be ready when it does, and make no mistake, the signals, partnerships, legal maneuvers, and institutional positioning all point toward a seismic, unavoidable surge. Every chart you've seen, every insider whisper, every strategic filing from Ripple is a breadcrumb leading to a moment that could define the next decade of crypto. Don't let FUD, indecision, or mainstream distraction cost you the chance to be part of this historic move. XRP isn't waiting, and neither should you. To conclude, here's the bottom line that every XRP holder, trader, and potential investor needs to internalize. We are standing at the threshold of a transformative moment in global finance, and Ripple is at the center of it. The legal clarity that has seemed like a cloud over XRP is in reality a ladder, slowly being placed to elevate the token into full institutional legitimacy. The partnerships, pilots, and strategic liquidity integrations are not rumors. They are quietly building a foundation that could make XRP the go-to bridge currency for trillions in cross-border flows. Every negative headline, every FUD-laden narrative is just static meant to keep retail investors scared and hesitant while the whales quietly accumulate. For those who act decisively, the opportunity is unprecedented. For those who wait for perfect timing, the window could close in weeks, not months. The evidence is everywhere. On-chain wallet activity, central bank interest, fintech partnerships, and the whispers from top-tier institutional investors all point toward one undeniable conclusion. XRP is quietly positioning itself for an explosive phase that could redefine how value moves across the globe. The final warning is simple. Stay informed, act strategically, and don't let mainstream distraction or fear dictate your moves. This is not hype. This is a front-row seat to history in the making, and every second you hesitate could be a missed opportunity. Remember, XRP is not just surviving regulatory scrutiny, it's using it to cement its position as a critical infrastructure player in global finance. Prepare, position, and be ready, because when the next wave hits, the landscape of crypto, banking, and wealth creation could look nothing like it does today, and XRP will be at the heart of it all. This is your chance to watch the future unfold, not as a bystander, but as an active participant in a revolution that most of the world doesn't even realize has begun.